Hello, welcome. It's that time of the week, that time of the month again. I got a special review. My guest is going by the name Magicqi, and look at his win rate right now. Currently ranked 7 in Legend with one of the most impressive win rates we've ever had as a guest. Magic, how are you doing today, man?
Hello, Kai. Hello, chat. Thanks for having me here, man. I'm doing very fine. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Magic, where are you from?
I'm from Austria, and my parents are from China, so I can speak Chinese, German, and also English.
Whoa! Well, shout out to any Austrians, anyone from China watching. Magic has it all covered. So, Magic, can you tell us a little bit about your play style, and maybe I think you're trying to tell us why you're doing so well this season with that 74% win rate.
Okay, I know a lot of you people already know me if you play ladder a lot, right? I'm usually RTA grinder. I played since season 1. I am day 1 player, and yeah, so I'm playing a lot, right? So if you play a lot, so you get a lot of practice, and so from season to season the meta will change, but you know your play style, also your knowledge about the game, it won't change, right? So the first thing when the season starts or the meta starts is to find out the solution to the meta. And this meta isn't very hard for me because I have all the units, right? I'm very lucky to have the Ricky, the Carrick, and also I put the Celias.
Yeah, I'm showing that on stream right now. We use actually both together. The Koeric he's just been very strong, right, Magic?
Yeah, the Ricky is one thing I guess people know about me is when they play against me, right? Is I'm the one of the I think origin SSB player. I play SSB a lot. I think all the 6 seasons I try to make SSB work. So if you go down to my draft, right, about every,
let me see.
Let's say every 2 games,
yes,
there's SSB.
I love it.
So yeah, this is SSB, and also I think 8 of my 10 games are always SSB.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to see that, and SSB is a unit that a lot of the other top players of Magic say she still is okay. Some people will even say she's bad now because of how many counters she has. But the fact that you're third picking her, you'll have to tell us more about it when we get to her in your roster. Okay, so keep that in mind. I want to hear all about this. But let's go start looking. Let's go start down the list. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right. So let's just start by CP.
One thing I have to mention is I'm not a high spender. Just I won't say F2P. I'm buying the monthly packs and also the value special packs. I think I'm 1.2k in.
1.2 thousand US dollars? 1.200
euro.
Yeah. Which is roughly, chat, maybe like 1,500. Is that about right? That's actually around how much I think I've spent Magic. So definitely not free to play, but I'll just make the disclaimer I always make for especially my YouTubers watching. $1,500, right? That's equivalent, he said, in euro. 1,500 US dollars. It's not that much in the grand scheme of, especially for someone like Magic who is placing so high up. Also, holy crap, Lottie, I'll finish that raid thing. Thank you, guys. Yeah, so not free to play. Has spent over $1,000, but for his performance, we've seen people spend like 20,000 and maybe aren't doing as good as Magic is. But yeah, thank you, Magic. Anything else you want to say before we start?
Maybe later. We can go to the unit first, and then I will, tell you about the I think mentality, why I'm so successful, and also about this meta, right?
Awesome. I'm excited, guys.
If you look through my units, right, they are very average compared to other account reviews. I watch all account reviews.
Oh. Okay.
And there are only, I think, 2 or 3 units. They are very, very well built, but the others are, usable.
So he's saying, guys, his gear quality, take note of this before we start looking at all the gear. His gear is saying is average compared to some of the other reviews I've done. And then Magic, one last question for you. What kind of player would you categorize yourself as? Aggro, standard, slow, cleave? Do you have kind of a definition?
This is kind of hard to describe,
of
but
course.
I think I'm a standard player on a defensive side, so it's not very aggro.
Yeah,
it's just I would say a lot of my guildmates call me Degen. Degen is if you want to describe someone to if you see something like a remnant, right? We will come back to that. This is not standard build. This is just just this is what you call degen. Also,
okay.
I'm one of the first player that plays Arbiter Richard season 1 in on contact set. So that's, you know.
So I think you're slower, or not slower, but more defensive, and you also innovate a little bit more, meaning you'll come up with different builds. Like we label them now degen. Okay, all right, I'm excited. Let's start. So Magic, first one on this is Kisei, and if you're saying average gear, like she's not super like insane stats. How often do you pick her? She's even missing a reforged ring right here.
Yeah, Kisei was very good last season. I think I nerfed Kisei a bit. This season we have the problem named Rimuru because you know, if Kisek proc gap, then she will die for Rimuru S2.
Yeah.
So the second thing is I'm not an aggro player, so I just pick Kisek, you know, 1 in 100 games maybe.
You only pick her 1 in 100?
Yes.
Okay. So right now, guys, he's saying still after the remove, but I've seen kind of some more people picking her up a little bit, and you've also made the adjustment to go Wind Rider because of that Rimuru procking Alexa's basket and then copying the buffs, right? So we kind of made some adjustments.
So you're not going to put immunity on her anymore, and also, you know, the gap we punish, right? So the Wind Rider is very safe.
Okay, sounds good. Next up is Arbiter Vildred, and this is a immunity build on basket, and wow, okay, I think the stats here are very nice though, right?
Yeah, Abi is very fine because if you know, if they don't have FCC and also play very aggro against me, right? They don't have mitigation or way to kill Abi twice, so I can just slam this unit and kill this unit after the revive, kill his team after the revive.
Wait, who did you say you would like to bring him versus?
Aggro players, maybe cleavers without, you know, answers to Abi. So
without answers to Abi, right? So any extinction, any fast unit. How important is the immunity?
Not very important, but you know, this is just leftover gear for him.
Okay, well, he just maximized the damage. Interesting. So Magic, guys, start writing down a few things, okay? Because Magic is saying his gear's not the best, he's not the biggest spender, but if you look at his win rate, which I started with, he knows something. So let's try to piece it together, why he's so successful right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of you...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think a lot of you guys can copy my build. My build is very, you know, average, and also, you know, let's say the legend benchmark, right? I'm very average, and a lot of other legend players are better geared than me.
Okay.
So it's very easy to achieve what I have.
All right, chat, you two, let me know if by the end of the review that's true. Let me see if you're like, Car, yeah, his gear isn't quite as insane as some of the other ones, or if, like, Car, I can copy this stuff pretty easily. Let's see. So next up, Spirit Eye Celine. We're on a speed build. Speed pen, of course. Speed looking pretty good. Yeah, honestly, my Spirit Eye Celine is the same here. So for sure, definitely achievable. How are you liking her in the meta right now, Magic?
She is very good if the opponent make a I would say I would say this a lot, the drafting mistake, right? If they draft a lot of single targets and no way to strip or, you know, to AOE my Celine, right? I can just slam this, and this is already a force ban.
So hard to draft.
Picking her early isn't that easy.
Say that
She's
one again.
Usually last pick.
Last pick, hard to draft, yeah. But when she does work, she's insane. Must ban potential, right? They have to, yeah, have to have an answer. Okay. And this is the build you've been liking, speed over lifesteal?
Yes, because usually if you put S3 up, right, that's very hard for opponent to go through in the right draft.
Yeah.
And in the draft, in the games you picked her, right, this she's already doing so much damage, and there's no need for, you know, for the lifesteal. The lifesteal Celine is good in 1 versus 4 situations, but you know,
right.
I'm a team gamer. I'm not relying on any 1 versus 4 units. So if you look at my units later, right, I'm not a Violet or Rowlet player, and just, you know, drafting team synergies and go for there.
I like that mentality. Okay, makes sense. Next up is Briarwitch Isaria. Magic, how often do we draft her?
I would say in the end of the last season, she was very good because, you know, everybody was picking Rimuru, and she was kind of good against Rimuru.
Yeah.
If you pick Bazaar with her, right, you have that double strip and double unbuffable. But this season, not a lot.
Really,
because
not
we have the Epoch problem, because A-Rub is very good against her.
Just because Epoch is usually on Crimson Seed?
Yes, and also Epoch is very hard to kill with Berserker, right? And Epoch can just focus Berserker down.
Sure. Okay. Got it. Okay. Next up is Operator Sigret, who is on the coins right now.
Yeah, I think she's okay. The attack is a bit low. I'm usually not an aggro player, but when they try to to tank up against me, right, I can just pick her.
With Fallen Cecilia, correct?
Yes, Fallen Cecilia. So I have the way to punish if they, pick Fallen Cecilia and then tanky team, right? So I picked Secret and Strass, for example.
Okay. So Magic, for a player like me that's also not aggressive, how important do you think she is to have as an option to fight tanky players?
Not so important as you might think. She's just nice to have. I think for a lot of players, for aggro players, also for clean players, she's a must. But for us, slower players, she's just a luxury to have.
Okay, because I got no more coins. I was hoping you'd be like, Car, you need her. Okay, good. Spec Tenny is up next. So we're on a speed immunity. No more life. Were you on lifesteal before, Magic?
Yeah, I was on lifesteal before. Season 4, right? It was carrot meta. It was important to have lifesteal to kill carrots.
Right.
Now everybody is dropping single target heavy units, and she's very good rather than if you pick her, let's say 4th or 5th, and they have no reach for you, then you don't usually need lifesteal.
Okay, I agree.
Just go high attack and high crit damage.
Thank you, Mosquito. All right. Yeah, this Tenny looks I wouldn't say crazy strong. Definitely just standard, right? Average.
This is very standard, I would say. Yeah, this is like 410 GS.
410 gear score. Vivian, this is PvE, or do we actually use her in some PvP?
This is PvE.
PvE. It kind of looks like a PvP build a little bit. Maybe not this week, but yeah. Okay, PvE.
She was kind of usable season 1 when
a
SSB
long
was
time
very
ago.
strong. Yeah.
Luna, PvE expedition, right?
Yeah, this is Fire Expedition.
Sure. Landy. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the Landy real fast. Guiding Light. Bulk is actually a little bit lower Magic than I've seen on other, I would say, for defensive players. You're okay with this kind of defense and health?
Back last season, I was on the health rig. I think it has she has 3,000 attack and about 17k HP.
Yeah.
But Landy is very hard to draft after Million Camera, right?
Sure.
So the thing is, in games you want Landy is you just want her to deal Omega damage.
Okay.
And the bulk is whatever, right? Just to survive the the pokes from from random tanks.
Yeah, random side hits, sure. So more emphasis on damage now, and this has been fine.
Yes.
When do you draft her? How do you?
Actually, I don't like drafting her. Maybe I played about almost 500 games this season, and I drafted her like in 5 games or so. So it's very rare. But if they they draft Electro and Ruel and Yen, it's this stuff, right? There are a lot of players. Some players they are very very tanky. So this Landy is very good against them.
He is from Austria. Is that there? The chat is. By the way, YouTube. Just for today, we have a special layout, so you can't see my chat talking right now. But I'll try to call out a few things. They're asking Magic. Are you? No, he's not from Germany. Austria.
Not from Germany, but I can speak German.
Oh,
so this is
impressive.
Language, right?
Okay.
So this is just a neighbor country of Germany.
Sure. Yeah. All right. I like the Landy tip. So you actually don't draft her as much because she is a liability versus Milim. But when you do draft her, we want the massive damage, right? That's the
yes.
Got it. Okay, Lulika, Wyvern only, right?
This is
expedition.
This is Wyvern and also Katie's.
Katie's got it.
Yes.
All right. Kron, unfortunately, probably doesn't see any light of day. No playability.
No, he's just randomly geared with the level 75 rank.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for the world boss, I guess.
Guys, it might be time to buff him. That might be a hot take, but he's just hasn't been playable for many seasons. Next up, Mediator Kowarik and Magic. This is one I'm missing from my account, and for me to play like you,
he's kind of important because if you don't have him, right? And last season I was also doing well without him. He was buff in the last week of the season.
Yeah,
and he's just I don't think he's very toxic. he's just he's very oppressive because he can protect you from a lot of stuff, right?
Sure.
Because when we get to the SSB's weaknesses are debuff, single targets, and also nuking her down, right?
Yep.
And Ricky can cover all the weaknesses from our SSB, so Ricky SSB is actually very, very good.
And that's so important. That's kind of what I was telling them when Conqueror Lilies came out for me. She can kind of interrupt. She provides the attack down because, right, as a defensive player, we need just we need some help making our key units like Seaside Bellona survive. And you're saying Ricky does that for you. Coeric does it.
But you have, people started to ban Ricky against me. And if you have Emilia, right, Emilia or Chloe, they will do the same thing. But you have to, the advantage of Ricky is you can slam Ricky, on the first or second pick and you can't be punished for it. Oh. This is not the same for Chloe or Emilia. So you can draft Chloe or Emilia. They will do the same if you play slow, right?
Yeah.
But it's very important to draft him a bit later than Ricky.
Magic, if you don't mind, in this review, I'm going to take a few questions while we do the review, guys, since I don't have the chat above for YouTube. Ricky, they're asking why 100 ER, and then other people in chat are saying this is the best Coeric they've seen. So they like the build, but why? Tell them why 100 ER.
Okay, there are two things you will realize, right? The one is the immunity. The immunity is just an edge against Isaria, because against Isaria, also against Lilias, you have to additional 15% to go through. Right. So the immunity is very nice. The other thing is the effect resistance. When I played very early this season, right, people started to pick Kisei and also Fire Carrick against me, and with the effect resistance, you can just resist their skills, right?
Got it.
When they try to reset you,
right?
And also for Judge Kisei, because if the Judge Kisei is on damage build, not the effectiveness build, you can just resist the skill.
So because of the skill pushback, because the thought process, I'm assuming, right, guys from chat, they think they don't need effect resist because he reduces the cooldown of the debuffs, right, on his S3. But you're saying you can't reduce the cooldown, or the debuff doesn't count on the skill pushback, so he has that just for Kisei, Judge Kisei, and Fire Coeric. Is that correct?
Yes, and this is also possible because I'm not farming that much, right? So you have the effectiveness or effect resistance gear lying around, so you can just put some effect resistance on Ricky, and it's hard to optimize, right? Because if you can sack all the effect resistance, go for 200 more defense, but this is very hard because we're not having all the gears like players as Jinte, for example.
Yeah. So I think this gear is very good, and it looks like you made the 100 looks really clean. Okay. We ready to move on, Magic, to the next one?
Yes.
Okay. Remnant Violet, one of my favorites this season. And your build, let's see here. Lifesteal Penetration, level 30, Shepherd of the Hollow, max triple S imprint, and very high attack, good bulk. Speed a little bit low, but you make up for that with your very high attack crit damage.
Mm-hmm. The idea behind this, right, is usually I like playing against Belian. I really like playing against Belian because I can play SSB, right? But if they protect their Belian with something like Electro or picking, because people started to counter against me because they know I play SSB, right?
Yeah.
They play some counter units, and the other strategy to battle this kind of comps is picking Ruel and Rylet. Yeah, if you have Ruel on Idol's Cheer, this is thanks to Aether Butch. Yeah, I think he invented this comp. Yeah.
Can you tell us the comp real fast, Magic? Idol's Cheer Ruel. Well, yeah. What's the comp for
Idol's Cheer Ruel and the Rylet? Because if Belian attacks you, right, you always push your Rylet forward, and Belian will feed your Rylet.
Oh, guys, I use Ruel very general purpose though, so I would have to make sure Idol's Cheer is good outside of versus Belian. But yeah, I like that tech. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about on Rylet? So very good against Belian alongside Ruel, and then do you bring him also with SSB if your opponent picks like Last Rider Crow?
Not really. As I mentioned before, I really like to draft comps and not units. So Rylet SSB is just
you won't pick them together?
I think doesn't synergize too well together. And I think if you draft Rylet, right, you need first you need mitigation, like FCC very good with Rylot, and also C arming. And the second one is something that can cleanse or revive your Rylot if something goes wrong, right? Because it can happen that they just hit your Rylot with Epoch S3 and your Rylot just dies. So it's very important to have a backup plan like Ruel.
Okay. That's what I need to, I think I need to learn a little bit more from you, Magic, is when to combine units like you. Yeah, we'll touch on that later on in terms of the overall draft idea. But next up we have Strays.
Yes.
Do you pick him up?
Strays is, whatever. I only pick Strays if I have the OP Secret or Emilia. This is what I talk. This is the combo. I never play Strays, as standalone unit. I only play Strays plus OP Secret if they, decide to go Ruel, FCC, and this kind of tanky stuff.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and the gear is definitely achievable by, I think, a lot of people. The 229 speed is okay for you?
Yeah, because you get the push up, right?
Yeah,
from Emilia, and also OP Secret can push them back.
Got it. Okay. Let's see the next. Summertime Isaria. Do we actually bust her out, Magic, as a defensive player?
Yes, kind of. Because last season she was very strong, so I decided to build her to pick her away from the opponent. If they go Cerise first pick, right, I can just or Ren first pick, I could just pick her and Politis together.
They're asking,
but I think this is
they're asking 225 effectiveness.
Yeah, this is for the high attack resistance mid Chloe. And also, the problem with her, right? You want her to have high attack, but I built up my Senna, also my Carrot, and Senna, Carrot, the Summertime Isaria kind of share the same gear. And if you have the limited amount of gear, right? So you have to,
which a lot of us
use
do.
what you have.
Of course, I like that. And so the overall idea is you take her if you think your opponent is going to be setting up a draft for her, correct?
Yes.
Otherwise, you never.
Because when I play her, right, I'm not relying on her winning the game on herself. Just try to pick a team around her, and she's not so bad with SSB, so she can to provide the debuffs and the bombs, and the SSB can clean up, for example. Usually, if people run is Cisaria or Cerise Cisaria, right, they are relying on them, Cisaria. Bombing all the units and kill the units.
I agree.
Yes.
Maybe, guys, it's time I just have one just to steal. So even on 18 artifact, you can draft her and it works okay, even though you're not yourself a Cisaria cleaver, right? When you steal her, it still works.
Yes, she's just a support unit for me.
Sure, got it.
Not a key unit to draft, but support.
Yeah. Okay. Next up is Senna. You pick her a lot,
I really like playing Senna. Senna's so fun, man.
I agree with that.
Yeah. The one problem I have with her is, you look the RT is max, right? So when the RT doesn't proc, it just feels so bad, man.
Yeah, it does. It's very important to have that, but still, you still like using her. How often would you say you pick her in a normal draft when you're trying to win, not play for fun?
When they go very aggressive and don't have Politis, because against Politis is very bad because she can proc Politis. But if they go, for example, Charles Cliff with Strays, for example, you can just win the late game. And also last season I used her a lot against Casino Gaming because she has a good chance against Violet and also Ram.
Yeah, but this season a little bit less because you said of Politis.
Yeah, because every cleaver and aggro player is
running
picking Politis, right? Yeah. And if they have Politis, it's very it's very cool.
It sucks for her.
Yeah.
Is there a reason you have so much effectiveness?
This is just my gear.
Just the gear roll like that? It's not intentional?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's not bad because she does have some debuffs, but yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Next up is Celine Magic. She's one, like, I see a lot of people running incorrectly. Do you pick her?
It's just word boss. I don't like using her.
Unfortunate. Yeah. Magic, do you think she needs a buff?
Yes, maybe not a big buff, just just make a bit I don't know, maybe a bit stronger, because the problem with her is, I would say A-Ravi is a big problem, because A-Ravi can just, revive something he kills, right?
Yeah.
And also with the elemental disadvantage, it's very hard to,
Exactly.
Yeah, people usually go to Isaria if they draft Ran Isaria, right? And if you miss a Isaria, it's just be so bad.
Yeah, it is bad. Okay. Next up is Milim.
Yeah.
Ooh, what is this build? So, running the artifact. Magic, talk to us about this, because I'm not a big fan of the artifact, but it seems like you. Yeah. How often do you pick her?
So, one thing, maybe we will talk a bit later, is
Sure.
if you have a comfort draft, right? My comfort draft is always SSB draft. And if they play against you a lot, they will not turn out to counter your draft. And the thing is, you want always to have a counter against the counter draft. And Milim is very good against all the units. They are good against SSB, for example. Lifesteal is very cool, because you can win 1 versus 4 late game.
Sure.
If you have the RNG. And
then of course
I would draft her usually on 4th and 5th pick, so not so early.
Yeah.
And also I have a very strong supporter units going with her. You will see that.
So we do want the 1v4 potential. And guys, if you weren't following, he says he uses her. So he's talking about comfort draft, means he likes Seaside Bellona in I think you said 1 in every 2 games, right? Seaside Bellona's coming out.
Yes,
for you, Magic?
every season. I try to make this work. Yes,
I love it. So when he does that, what do people bring, guys? Magic, Earth units, and especially like Violet. Who else?
Yes, Earth units, Violet, and also I will spoil a bit, because usually people don't see Alencia a lot, right?
Yeah.
But actually, Alencia is very good against me, because I'm spamming SSB. Alencia is so good against SSB, and she just killed Alencia.
Okay. So Milim kills Alencia. All right. Now, this is your favorite, but what about just having counter? Since you have strong supports, Magic, do you think this lifesteal plus her artifact is necessary, or can it also be like a counter build?
No, if I had the same stats on counter set, right, I would run counter with whether book or something else.
This is just what you.
It just turned out that my lifesteal
is good, nice.
Gear,
all right.
Better.
Sounds good. So he uses her, guys, when the opponent will try to stop his Seaside Bellona. Got it. Okay. I have one last question on this. Since your Milim build, probably, do you still bring her out when your opponent picks Landy, Magic?
Yes. It depends, right? I'm not liking counter unit 1 by 1. I'm just counter the comp with some comp, right? And if they draft, for example, Landy with Apoc Ravi, Millie is very good against these two. But if they draft Landy and Estinio, right? Or Sproul and these kind of comps, then Milim is not so good. So it depends on the Landy comp. But usually Milim is very good against Landy and forces them to ban, right?
So it depends on what kind of Landy comp it is. If it's like if you said they has the crowd support, and you said what, Stenny,
yes.
Spectenny, and things like that?
Yes.
Okay, and then Milim. Got it. All right, so Gunther, is this just a meme, Magic? We don't have to talk about this.
No.
Skip? Okay.
Gunther's a meme.
Tempest Surin, any playability?
Yes. If they make, also this is I think there are 2 or 3 units that are really hard punishing opponent if they make mistakes in draft, right?
Yeah.
If they pick for example Watcher Shuri and single target Cliff, right? Then you can just pick Tempest Surin to then they just have to they force them to ban, right? Because they can't kill her, and then you can just Cliff back.
So, okay, so we use her in those specific scenarios. You mentioned single target cleave, watch a Shuri.
Yes.
Well, this is when we're bringing her out. Interesting, okay. So she does see some play, because that cleave does come up pretty often, right? Or maybe not as much, but it does. People still play a lot of single target aggressive comps.
But she will punish, on players they focus too much on one kind of cleave, right? Because you want to diverse your cleave a bit to to have stripper, also AOE and something. But if they go full single target, you could just pick Tempest Shuri.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. All right, next up is Falconer Clury. Magic, any
She was so strong back then in season 3, but now she got power creep as Sea Lilias.
Oh yeah.
Why would you pick her if you got the Sea Lilias?
I'm sure Hez, if you're listening, can you confirm? I agree. I think she does everything that Falconer clearly wants to do, just more, right? So yeah.
And also, the metas get him a bit faster, right? Usually, if you draft Falcon Crew, you go, you want to go Frenzy 6 and 7, then Falcon Crew can solo that team, right?
Yeah.
But now the games are so fast. Often.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is Fire
but
Mercedes.
She's usable.
Oh, still usable. But for you don't pick her that often, right?
No.
Okay. Fire Mercedes, Magic.
She was so good back in season 5 when the season started, right?
Yes.
Everybody was picking Landy as Tine. And if you pick Charlotte and Mercedes, right? Fire Meru against this kind of combo, you just, they can't do anything.
Yeah.
Because you forces them to pick Landy and Estine and just pick 2 fire DPSs, and Fire Mirror was the second one to go along with Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
But now I guess, why would you pick Fire Mirror if you can also pick Milim?
Okay, so that's Milim kind of power crap Fire Mirror is what you're saying?
Yes.
Is there any
scenario? I think the one situation you want Fire Mirror is maybe to strip their buffs. If they drop mid Chloe, Landy, maybe.
Okay, but for you, how often would you say you bring her out?
I played her 2 times this season.
And you've played over 400 games, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's sad. Okay. Yeah, Chad is saying she's still amazing Guild Wars. Magic is just saying for this season in RTA, he doesn't bring her as much. Okay.
Yes.
Because he brings Milim instead now. Next up is Ambitious Tywin. Magic, talk to us about Awen.
Tywin was very strong season 3. It's all season 3, man. And also last season when they are drafting a lot of Soul Weavers. So the problem this season is you have a lot of immunity buffers, like the main one being Ricky. So he's very bad against Ricky, for example. But recently, right, they started to ban Ricky and playing Emilia and Ruel. And one thing you will notice is this Tywin has a lot of effectiveness. Yes?
Yep.
So you can just, pick Tywin against this kind of Soul Weaver comps and try to soul burn.
So you're using him against the Emilia Ruels because they don't usually have super high effect resist. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And the one condition you always keep in mind is no Bellion in game. Because Bellion can just shut a Tywin down, right? Because you just use one as free, because you can't soul burn and then just wait to cleanse the debuffs and that's over.
Got it.
The condition is they don't have Bellion and they are drafting,
those Soul
Weavers. Yes.
Okay, so he does kind of come up here now, guys. All right. Next up is Holiday Yufine. Magic, talk to us. We have the level 30 Guild War artifact, so this is probably to stop Fairy Tale Tenebrias, correct?
Yes. She's a very strong 5th pick if you already dropped 2 DPSs. The one problem with her is she is very weak as solo DPS.
Yeah.
So if you have 2 DPSs in draft already and you want, and they draft Eftini and Bazaar debuffers, right? You could just slam her.
But you're saying, so we want to be looking out for, you said Bazaar and Fairy Tale Tenebria, but we need to make sure our draft has 2 DPS because she's very hard.
Yes, because if you only have 1 DPS in draft, right? They can just ban the DPSs and this is, not a good comp.
Okay, so those conditions are a little bit difficult because sometimes Magic, right, you will only draft 1 or 2 total DPS. You're saying for us to bust out the Holiday Fiend, we need to have already 2 DPS in the draft. So then how often do you say you would pick her? This season?
That's very often.
Still very often?
Yeah, because, the one thing is if you're playing slow, right? You always have to keep in mind, are you comp safe against, something like AOL or FTini? So if you're drafting yourself in your hold that you're very weak against, debuffers like FTini or Braziera, right?
Yeah.
This is already, a kind of disadvantage. So you always try to we will go through some drafts later on. Yeah. But you will always try to protect yourself against Ftini, this kind of stuff on the third or the fourth pick, and also having the last pick in mind, because if they draft heavy debuffers, right, you always want to have Champion Zerato or Hufin ready to.
Champ Zerato. So yeah, Magic. Let's try to speed through this so that we can spend more time. I want to spend more time on the. Let's look at drafts, because I think that's your biggest. I think that's going to be one of the biggest things you'll teach us is the draft.
Yes.
So let's skip Lidica and Alexa. Yeah, we don't need to look at them.
Yes.
Okay, and let's look at Sage Ball. Oh, we're running him on the Bastion of Hope. Very high effect resist. Talk to us, Magicqi. What is this build for?
This is when they try to cleave you, maybe kind of CCR drafts. And with the effect resistance, right? When I have the guild Artim maxed, he will go to 280. And with T imprints, he will maybe reach 300. And this is also enough to resist all kind of debuffs, I hope. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is also very good against, if they play Sea Lilias in aggro, you can just pick him, right? Because Sea Lilias usually doesn't have high effectiveness, and if they S3, S2, you already pushed up your ball season.
Sure. Okay. Raz, we skip, right? PvE expedition.
Yes.
Got it. Crow. Have to we pick this Crow here? Magic.
Crow. I nerf Crow a bit because the helm is free to play, and also
I still use it
some
too.
kind of copium gears. Crow is actually my second knight after Siami.
Yeah.
When I don't have Siami, I usually have to think about it about FCC or Crow, right? So it depends on what they pick. If they go very aggro, I can't pick Crow, because they can just kill my Crow with Trace, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they got a bit slower, like Elo Crow or something, maybe Mulek, Charles, and this kind of stuff, right? Usually my Crow can survive and as feedback.
Sure.
So it depends on situation of the draft, what they are drafting against you, and then you go for there, right? And Crow is weaker in protecting your DPSs because you only have the defense buff, right? And FCC is better because you can, FCC provide a barrier, and also, yes, and FCC can also bring Landy out of Guiding Light.
Yeah.
If you pick Crow and they go into a heavy Landy comp, you're already in trouble.
Yeah.
Yes.
The chat is saying, Magic, that your Copium gear has more CP than their strongest units.
I don't think so. Because if you look at my gear, right, in Crow gear, this is very easy achievable.
He's right, though, guys. A lot of y'all can make a Crow similar to this, but maybe they're newer. Jeff.
Yeah.
And whoever was saying. All right, so Apoc Ravi next. Draco Plate, Speed Pen, very high health. Yeah, tell us about this.
One thing you already noticed, right? All my units are very tanky, so I'm very, let's say, a standard player on the tankier side. I build my Apo Ravi to survive, AQC. Because AQC without attack buff can't kill my Apo Ravi. And also, if I have a mitigation and they have, AQC with attack buff, right? This is also, not enough to kill my Apo Ravi.
Sometimes you'll still live as long as you have mitigation, even when their LQC has attack buff?
If I have the mitigation, they have attack buff, right? This depends on AQC, but it's not enough.
Okay. The Draco, now, what's the trade-off? How do you ever miss having the Crimson Seed, or you really like the Draco Plate because of the extra? Let's say they don't have the mitigation. Is it because of the damage, or you need to make up the crit damage? What is the Draco Plate there for?
Yes, once is you have the crit damage for for the lack of damage, and the other thing is usually I don't like playing this unit. I really don't like. Maybe 1 of 5 games. So this
so
very
you really
rare,
don't pick
right?
her that often. Interesting.
Yeah, because I really want them to pick this because SSB is very good against Arabi.
Guys.
So my usual strategy, if they don't know me, right, is to bait out the comp where my SSB is very good against. Like I let them have Balian, Arabi, and FCC,
and then you bring
SSB just destroy this kind of comps.
All right, Chad. If y'all if you're a standard maybe defensive player, you're having trouble with Apoc Ravi's. Let's see what Magicqi we'll see in the draft area. So Ran up next. We actually
Yeah, this is just to show that I'm not very speed blessed.
Yeah.
This is the fastest Ran I can make.
do you ever
I'm not a
draft
speed
him?
player.
Yeah, that's fine.
Nope. This is
you never draft him. It's just for fun to show. I think.
Yeah, just for fun, and something. Sometimes when I play some friendly mock battle, right, I can just draft Rans this area for fun.
Now I know Magic Chat is gonna be like, wow, that's still way faster than I can build. Because listen, man, this chess piece 21, helmet 19, weapon 19.
Yeah, but I guess I am day one player, right? And
yes.
I also found a lot of Vivan.
I was gonna say
this
that.
is just
So not only is he,
I have a very very fast gear. You will see that on Celilias. But aside from this piece, right, every piece is so slow.
Okay. For him to compete at that level, guys, he's ranked 7 right now. He's saying he doesn't have the full speed gear to make it work. All right, last rider crown next, Magic.
Okay.
We bring him
he
out.
was very good season 3. A lot of wins were very very good season 3.
But he's kind of he's a little more relevant right now, right? Because of Rebellion.
Yes. Because of Rebellion and also of Emeru.
Emeru.
He's not bad against Emeru.
Yeah.
And also he is very good against me.
Because you play SSB.
Because
so
I like playing SSB, right? If they early pick Last of the Crown, I can't go SSB anymore, so I have to go something like William or Rylet, right?
Okay.
Yeah. This is also, top players like Aether Butch doing against me.
This is Last Rider Crow?
Yeah, they know that I'm, SSB abuser, so that they just pick Last Rider Crow, second or third pick, so yeah.
It's so funny, guys, him saying SSB abuser when a lot of other players, Magic, wrote off SSB as only a last 5th pick and only usable when, like, even then, I feel like a lot of people aren't even running or even as 5th pick in a lot of scenarios now, so I can't wait to see the SSB. We'll try to keep going so we can find her.
Yes.
Carrot, are we picking her often or not anymore?
Conditional. You have to, some of the units are very good if you can meet certain condition. Because Carrot is not bad against Bellion, but she is very bad against Aravi. If you can, maybe ban Aravi or pick Aravi yourself, she can carry you a lot of games.
Okay.
Yeah, she's not bad against Bellion.
Interesting.
The other thing is Emilia. Emilia is also very strong against her because Emilia can, cleanse every turn, right?
Yeah.
So no way Carrot can push through. The other thing is the army. So if they don't have the army, Emilia or Apoc Ravi, right? Then this unit is kind of good again.
Okay. We just have to watch out for those hardcore the units you mentioned. Dark Corvus, Guild War only.
No, I think our guild are not allowed to use Dark Corvus, so it's just whatever.
Just whatever, never you feels.
Yeah.
Here we go. Little Queen Charlotte.
Shout out to my guild, Ismet.
Yeah. Shout to Inmori, right? Shout out to the Inmori. LQC destruction set.
Yeah. LQC isn't that good anymore. There are a lot of Ricky and this kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
That can,
Let me elaborate on that a little bit, Magic. So, guys, he's saying everyone in chat is like, of course she's still good. Apoc Ravi's using every game. Little Queen Charlotte counters Apoc Ravi. But Magic is saying, guys, right now, not as good because of Ricky. And until my tournament that we ran, I didn't know what they were talking about. Magic, ML Kowaric, skill 2, I believe. Full strip. So she takes away the immunity. He takes away the immunity.
Yeah.
And then
I think the full strip
down
is not a problem, but the attack down.
Yes.
The attack down hurt the LQC a lot.
Yeah.
So I shifted to to Bruiser LQC style with late game potential because of Sigurd, right? You can swing a game in your favor.
Okay, but you don't really use her to counter Ravi anymore specifically.
I think against Ravi it's fine, but you are not playing aggro to destroy Ravi in the first 2 turns, right?
Interesting.
Because in Frenzy 4 and 5 she can she can't solo the team if they have a Ravi or.
And that's why you shifted her with little maybe more bull and then Sigurd Scythe. Okay, so no more bomb build, guys. Yeah.
Yes, and she's good against I think Emeru also because you can get your immunity back, right, from
with
S1.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Next up is Zahak. Actually on some pretty good gear, pen set. Are we bringing him out?
I try to use him. Nowadays, I just using on Guild Wars offense.
Okay, Guild War mostly right now.
He's very hard to use.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because even when you hit a Remnant Violet or a Violet, sometimes they'll have like Ruel, or it's just the trade is usually not enough, right? Because after he does his initial burst, for a defensive player like you and me, we can't capitalize on it. Is that what you found?
It's very hard. Because usually if you draw the Hawk, right, you want to kill them, right away.
Yeah.
And if they have something like, Ruel and some APOC is also very, people saying the Hawk is very good against APOC because you can,
injure
the APOC, yes. But it depends on team comp, right? In standard play, the Hawk isn't that good.
Okay.
Because you really want to, to finish the game on the first.
Yeah, and then players like you and I, we can't. Not that aggressive. Yeah, I find the same. Okay. Troublemaker Crozet?
He's also situational, but when they, he's also anti-cleave.
Anti-cleave, usually.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he can protect, the key units, and also with...
What's your favorite pair with him?
He will come back, right?
Yeah.
And provide the...
Who are you usually protecting, Magic? Magic, can you hear me? ADC? Uh-oh. Technical difficulties, boys. Give him a second here. Magic. Oh, no.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, welcome back. Welcome. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's keep moving on. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, good. Pavel. You don't use this as a standard player.
No, that's whatever.
Yeah, we don't like units like that. Made Chloe, though, we use. And oh my god, very high effect resist. Not on the Guild War artifact. You just have 275. After passive, 295. And then if you wanted any imprints... Oh, wait, imprints already included. Okay.
Yes, with the T imprints, you can easily go over 300.
Yeah.
So this is, if they ban Magicqi, right, or pick Magicqi away, this is, my second cleanser. And also works against, Isaria. Because usually... I think not a lot of people are, using debuffers over 200 effectiveness. This is crazy, right? So this Mid-Coil can resist all the stuffs.
Okay. Yeah, I've also shifted mine. I need the artifact, though, because my effect resist gear isn't as crazy as yours. But sounds good. Pillis?
Pillis is usable.
But do you use her?
Yes, she's not bad against Cerise.
Really?
Because she can cleanse, right?
Okay.
Yes, and she is better against Sea Lilias than, for example, if you use FCC or Sea Army, right? They can't do anything because they get pushed back and controlled. And the one thing I tried out with Pillis is, right, they have to make a choice because they have to to provoke Pillis. If they don't provoke Pillis, right, I can just cleanse all the stuffs and yeah.
Okay. So you're actually using her a little bit versus Celine, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of, next up, guys, he said the gear was crazy.
Okay.
What is this artifact? Oh my god. Talk to us, Magic.
Okay.
This gear's crazy.
First thing you will notice is she got my fastest piece of gear. This is the ring. If you look at the ring. Yes.
Oh my god, this ring is disgusting. And it's on speed set. Boys!
Yeah, this is my only fast piece of gear.
Yeah.
Aside from this is
Oh my goodness, okay, man! This unit is not okay with your kind of gear.
So,
talk to us about the artifact.
Okay. I know trying to MLM you guys yes. I think this artifact is really strong on her. Okay. Because if you think about it, right, the one thing is if you put her Gibbous defense, this artifact, will proc on the key units. If they proc, defense or healing on the right moment, right, it can just swing the game. And Gibbous defense is always about, the RNG. This is the one thing. And also, I'm not trying to play fast. And my leaders are already so fast, right? Sure. So I try to protect my DPSs on units. And if you look at the buffs that leaders can provide, you have defense buff, so good.
Yep.
And then you have the healing.
Yep.
The healing or defense buff are the premium buffs, and you have also the barrier. So if when I play SSB with her, right, and she proc defense or barrier or SSB, the SSB is just unkillable with the Vigo.
Interesting. So the alternative is Border Coin, and you kind of mentioned indirectly that your Lilius is already fast. You don't need the extra the speed from Border Coin.
Yes, this is my play style. I think Border Coin and Warhorn, they are the best slots for Lilias. But the way I play, right, I really like the music box.
So defensive players, this is you think this is the best defensive artifact?
Yes, and then music box also provide the defense for herself, right? So you already get the value from that.
You're
artifact.
Already so tanky though. I think that's very nice.
Yeah.
All right.
And the artifact is now free to play, easy to max, right?
Easy to max.
So you get so you get 1,000 HP from the artifact. This is already a big value.
Okay, I like it, guys. Anyone that doesn't have Border Coin or Warhorn maxed out, look at this if you're a more defensive-minded player. We can skip Charles, right, Magic?
Yeah.
Pillis. Ooh, counter build? Is this MLM Magic?
You don't have to put her in a counter build. The important thing now is to have her on Abyssal Kron.
Yeah.
Because for us, defensive players, you're not going to cleave them back.
Sure.
You just, to protect yourself and with additional RNG layer. If they, for example, have Celias, right? You can just disrupt them by, proccing 2 or 3 crowns and you already swing the game so hard.
Okay, so a little bold. Yes. Most important thing though was just crown and then immunity for defensive players.
Yes.
Okay.
The one thing is, I don't like drafting her against Epoch Ravi. Epoch Ravi is so good against her. So this is the one condition I don't like drafting Politis.
Guys, so Magic has said a few units now that Epoch Ravi, he won't bring versus Epoch Ravi, and that's how good she is. Okay. Fallen Cecilia, Magic. Very high health.
Second night to go. She has high health, but the gear score on her, right, is like 370. So it's very easy to achieve.
That's normal for tanks, right? Because the
this is normal for tanks. It's alright. It's alright. She's
Did you say you picked Crimson Armin more than her?
Yeah. But she's very good if they go Violet or Epoch Ravi, these kind of single targets.
Okay. So you like to pick your tank later to kind of counter what your opponent is picking?
I think third or fourth pick.
Third or fourth pick. Interesting.
Yes.
What about Crimson Armin? Is she also in the third or fourth pick? Or will you just Crimson Armin? When are you're normally picking your tank in third or fourth?
Crimson Armin I can pick Crimson Armin a bit earlier, maybe second pick from the second pick on. Because it's very hard to punish the army, right? But units like Crow and Fallen Cecilia, you have to drive a bit later.
Interesting.
And I have some support unit because Celias is mega support unit, right? She's so oppressive.
Yeah.
She's I like drafting neutral support unit first. This is like Ricky, Lilias, and also my Rimuru. My Rimuru is my biggest support.
Okay, let's see when we get to that. Fire Ravi, do we still draft her? Looks like she's still geared. Looks pretty good.
Yes, I drafted her this season a lot against AOL.
Oh, Ravi against AOL this season. Okay.
Yeah. The condition is if they have AOL and Rimuru. Because these two are, so anti-synergic, I will let these two through, right? And drafting Lilias with Ravi. And Ravi, Ravi doesn't care about buffs, and Rimuru usually can one-shot her. So with Ravi and Lilias, you can battle this kind of outcomes, right?
Okay, sounds good. AOL up next on Revenge Set. What is this?
I don't like using AOL.
Yeah.
But when I picked her right in the right condition, she is so good. And the Revenge Set, slower AOLs to I want AOL to go after the buffers so I can strip.
Oh, okay. Make sure it's just slower than on the buffers, yeah.
Yes, and she's just a bait unit because usually if you have the AOL, right, they try to kill the AOL, and my AOL is on proof and also on revenge, so yeah, very tanky, and she can cycle her S3 back if she's very low.
Okay. All right. Next up, Alencia, which you kind of talked about briefly. People bring her against you. Do you bring her against other people?
Rarely.
Rarely.
It's very rare. Yeah. The problem with Alencia is she is not good in against A Ravi, for example. A-Ravi just destroyed him. And A-Ravi is, A-Ravi is the problem. This
There's
mid,
another one, guys. Count how many, because of A-Ravi.
Yeah, and also, units like Milim, right? She's very hard to draft, but I guess she's fine. I never draft her, but if they are picking SSB, RAM, and these kind of units, right?
You can sure. Earth, okay. Yeah. Assassin Coley.
Is whatever.
Just keep sure. Acid.
Yeah, and also Acid is whatever.
Oh, yes. Okay. Fire Lilius, Red Lilius.
Yes. Fire Lilius, not immunity because you don't need her in immunity because against AOL, right? You just,
yeah, we want to. So you bring her versus AOL.
Yes, she's just an S1 damage machine, S1 with rabbits, for example, too much damage.
Okay.
And also Apoc Rabbit, right?
Yeah, the two rabbits you bring with Lilius.
The two rabbits, also Emeru and Bellion.
Oh,
they're usually good targets.
Now, do you need to fight an AOL for Lilius to be coming out? Or will you bring her if you have
I'm only drafting her against AOL.
Only against AOL, okay. Got it. Welcome on in, guys. If you are just tuning in, we're interviewing Magicqi, who is rank 7 with a 74% win rate. And we want to get to the draft part, so let's keep moving along. Magic.
Welcome.
G Purgus, anything?
G-Pug is also good against B, you can imagine.
Of course, SSB, SSB player.
SSB. If they pick G-Pug, third or fourth, right? I can't pick SSB to it.
So will you ever pick him in case you're setting up SSB so your opponent doesn't have him, or no?
I pick sometimes against Emeru because he is very supportive, right? You guys are thinking he will just get sealed by Emeru, but if you pick 3 or 4 units, they are targets to seal, right? They have to choose, and if they don't seal the G-Pug, you can
Magic, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Real fast, guys. I don't know, guys. Just let Light know tomorrow, because he probably already dipped. Thank you so much for the Light raid, boys. Right now, once again, it's Magic. I thought people were just tuning in real fast, Magic. But welcome on in, Light Raiders. I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen Magicqi on Light streams, as on the RTA ladder. So once again, thank you so much for all the follows. We're gonna get to a draft section real fast. So welcome. If you have any questions, we'll answer them at the end. Right, Magic?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Sorry to interrupt you. The G Purgus. Finish your final thoughts on what you were saying about him.
Is there anything else? Usable. Also, against Cleaves sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
So
versus Cleaves, and then you don't like fighting him though because you're an SSB player, which we haven't seen yet. I can't wait to see the SSB. Okay, next up is Cerise.
Cerise is a mid-speed unit on 270 because I'm very slow, right? So it's fine.
Yes, and when do you bring her out?
Not so often. She will enable Cisaria if I want to play Cisaria, and aside from this, right, very rare.
Very rarely. Okay. Fairy Tale Tenebria on resist build, or is that just the gear? That's just how the gear is.
No, it's just a speed gear. Okay. Go over my helmet and chest. Yes.
How often would you say you bring out the Fairy Tale?
Usually I force ban. If they I said before, right? If they make a mistake in draft, right, and are weak against Fairy Tale, I can just to force them to ban her.
Sure. And Magic, if you had another crown, because your other crown was on Politis, right? Would you be running crown instead over this for Sierra instead of Sierra Ren?
If you have a crown, yes, but I'm very low spender. I don't have all the artifacts, right? And also not have multiple artifacts, so I just use what I have.
All right, Paladin, save that question. We'll get to it when we wrap up the units. Sermia, no need to talk about Katie's expedition. Something Violet though.
Yeah,
green Violet, and he's on immunity Magic. So this is one I've been the top players have been telling me about.
Yeah,
immunity versus Cisaria, correct?
Yes. The one thing is Violet isn't that good in standard anymore. So if you think about it, right? There are Milim, there are Landy, there is Tina. There's so many stuff there. If you want to draft Violet in 1 versus 4 situation, right? You can draft, the Violet and also draft Milim for it.
That's exactly what Apex was telling me.
Oh, he's smart, man.
Yeah. And also a review. He was a guest like you, Magic. So he's no longer, guys, they just is no longer used for standard. And Magic, go ahead and tell them Cisaria, is that the only place you kind of bring him out now?
Ciceria and also some cleaves, right? Because the chance for Ciceria to go through Violet, because S2 can't place Bomber Violet if you don't have if you have the immunity, right?
Yeah.
And usually they drafting Ran and Ciceria. Ran can't hit Violet, so it's very safe. And they have to risk the S1 or Violet, and this is also the RG layer they have to go through.
Sure.
And this is very unlikely, right?
Okay. And
so Violet against Ciceria is
that's
very safe. If you have trouble against Ciceria, I would recommend you putting immunity on Violet.
I think a lot of players have trouble. So immunity, Magic. How about the stat line? Because Violet can be built a few different ways. Did you emphasize to make sure you have a lot of bulk? And then the speed. Some people ask, and what would you tell them, Magic? Do you need speed on your green Violet?
Don't need speed against cleaves. It's it's just I don't have any non-speed boots, right?
But they're
so
both
if you
viable?
have high health or high defense speed, high defense boots, right? You can put the defense or health boots.
Yeah.
But I don't have this kind of boots, so
no problem. So to recap one last time, guys. Magic and a lot of other top players no longer using Violet on penetration set because he's no longer a standard 1v4 unit, because a lot of units kind of counter him now, Stenny, Milim, etc. Instead, they're using him to fight Ciceria, so they replace penetration set with immunity set. And the bonus is Ran. Usually you're like, Car, just strip immunity. That's why immunity's not good anymore. Ran is an ice unit, and Violet, of course, with his dodge and being an earth unit, cannot be dispelled or cannot strip the immunity. Correct, Magic? Is that about the wraps it up?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to probably be switching too, guys. They've convinced me. So no more 1v4 Casino Pen Violet. I'll use Remnant Violet for that.
Yeah.
All right. Bazaar, Magic, anything quick notes on him?
Rare drafts, because sometimes I don't like drafting Bazaar or Braziera, because I usually, if you look at my draft later on, right, I usually drafting my DPSs last.
Yeah.
So on the 4th and 5th pick. So back in season 3, I drafted my DPSs very early, so I can pick Bazaar and Braziera to double, double strip and double unbuffable.
Yeah.
Now it's very rare.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dien. Rare pick?
This season, yes. Last season I used her a bit. She is she can win you the late game against for example, Ruel comes. If you play season 1 a lot, right? I play season 1 a lot. This is just a split. They pick Ruel, I pick Dien, and usually Dien provides attack buff and more value for the late game.
Okay. And then Magic. What's your most used Soul Weavers? Ruel
If you don't, no. I always consider Ricky as a Soul Weaver, but he's a warrior, right?
That's
he's
fair.
Like
God,
he's everything.
So he kind of places your spot where you would put a Soul Weaver.
Yes, but Emilia and Chloe, right, are the second.
Chloe. So you don't draft a lot of Ruel?
No, I just only draft Ruel with Milim or with Rylet.
Rylet, okay, got it.
Yes.
Kawazu, does he see any play?
Situational. For example, if they don't have APOC, try to cleave you with AoE, right?
Another no APOC, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Against cleave, AoE cleave.
Yes,
he'll
because
come out
you
if
always,
they have no APOC.
if they go Ran or Cerise, right? They your Kawazu will cut. And also, I gave my Kawazu to Randall to secure the cut, right?
The CR push, yeah, sure.
Yes, if they have
250 plus Durant.
Politis. Yes.
Got it. Okay. Welcome on in, guys. So next up we have Bloodblade Karen on Sword of Summer Twilight.
Yeah, it's whatever.
No, you don't use her at all, Magic?
No.
Okay.
No.
Bellion, I'm sure you use sometimes.
Sometimes.
Really?
Only if they know. Only if they pick Estine or they are trying to cleave you and not pre-ban her.
Okay. So outside of that though, we don't like her even as a defensive player, right, Magic? You don't pick her that often?
No, because I really like them to pick Bellion against me.
Yes, that's right. He wants his opponent to be picking the Bellion. We'll see soon, guys. She's not even on the list yet. All right, let's keep. You have so many units built, Magic. It's impressive. Not all of them are being used, but you have a lot of units on gear, and Crimson Armin is on counter gear.
Yeah, this is my knight to go. Usually, when I don't know what to draft in the first 3 rights, I drafted her because she's usually very safe for my playstyle.
Very nice stats, 100 ER pretty much on immunity, and the counter is just a bonus, right, Magicqi? You wouldn't say it's required.
Yeah, counter's a bonus because
she doesn't need anything else. Yeah. I like the build. All right, this is number 1 go-to Carmen. And she's actually at plus 4. Oh, yeah.
Now we're going to my number 1 support, man.
Here we go, guys. Get ready, chat. The Remu. The number 1. This is a support Remu.
Yes.
Magic, what? Guys, 25 crit. Yeah, sorry. You go ahead. You explain. Magic, take the floor.
Yes. The story behind this Remu, right, is they released this unit on the last week in the last season.
Yeah.
And I didn't have molars left for him.
Okay.
So, and he was so strong if people, picked against me, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted, to just gear him up, just to steal away from the opponent.
Sure.
And, without molars, putting him a DPS GS, right, is very, very, copium.
It's not good.
Usable. Yes. And I really didn't have, any molars left, like 2 molars, for the S3. So I just put random tank gears on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he carried me single-handedly to the Legend top 20 finish.
Top 20 finish because of tank Remu?
Yes. He was like 90% win rate on the last day.
Tell us why. What's so successful about this tank Remu? Support Remu.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one thing is usually, you don't need the if you play, the problem with a playstyle, right, is they try to focus me down to try to play aggro against me, right?
Yeah.
And if you play this kind of Remu against the aggro units, usually the S3 true damage are enough to one-shot one unit. Okay. So this is just a bonus. This is not the main use. This is just a bonus.
Just the bonus.
The second thing is you can protect him, into the late game. And if you come to the point where you can, he's very fast, right? If you can protect him to the point where you can soul burn S3 every second turn, he can just, one-shot the unit 1-by-1. The third thing is...
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
The third thing is, if people see the Remu, right? I have, some clips where they try to focus Remu down. They had 6 souls and try to, million kill my Remu, and they just can't kill it. Because it's so tanky, right? But the most important thing about this support Remu is the AoE defense break. If you, I really like draft SSB at Charlotte. If you can time your S3 so that your, that your DPS will follow up after Remu, right? Mm-hmm. You AoE defense break the whole team and just go Charlotte S3 or SSB S2 S3.
Interesting.
Yes.
Magic.
I'm not saying this Remu is not the best the best build for him, right?
Yeah.
I'm just try to tell people that this Remu won me a lot of games, and I think maybe 40% of a wins this season are due to this Remu.
So he's still holding up this season. How about with the introduction of Conqueror Lilius? Does that hurt this kind of Remu at all?
Not really, because if they have the first pick, right, I just spend the season. Yes.
We'll get to that soon. I love it, man. I think I'm gonna try it out, guys. Everything he said, I like. That's why I don't draft Remu as often. For a tanky player, it kind of makes sense. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I like the yeah. Think Chad's gonna try it.
But
no, right? What's up?
If you draft this kind of Remu, right, you have just you have to see him as a support.
Yes.
Not a damage dealer.
Yeah.
So you have to draft 2 DPSs with him. This is very important.
And Magic, how often would you say you don't skill 3 the first turn, or do you always bring a book?
Usually 90% of the time I don't.
You hold it till you have 10 souls.
Yes.
Because
the one thing I like is if they play aggro, right, and they have Rylet, usually my Remu is very fast. I can just steal the evasion buff and my team is usually safe.
Okay.
So if you play this kind of Remu, right, you have to make a lot of decisions in game. So this is, just funny for me.
It's big brain Remu. All right, Karma, I struggle with that a little bit. Okay, up next, Green Bellona. Not the right Bellona, so we're skipping her. Ruel. He said he plays rarely. Idol's cheer for using against Bellion with Remnant Violet, correct?
Yes, exactly.
And the build looks pretty standard, very
Violet,
tanky.
This is very standard. This is,
100 ER. Okay, we got to be careful though, right? Magic with this ER, a lot of times Fallen CCs and of course Lilius will provoke her. But you got the Lilius thing covered with the ban if you don't have her. But do you ever struggle with 100 effect resist?
No, because if they focus my rare, right, they can I can push up the artifact will push up my DPSs. So
okay, not too worried. Got it. Doris, any play at all?
Just for Guild Wars.
Guild Wars only. Designer Lilibet, any hope? Copium?
A lot of players are trying her out lately. Yeah, shout out to Aether Pooch. I'm not liking using her.
Yeah, same. Right, chat? Yeah. Not really, not in the best spot. Solitaria, because same thing.
If I don't have Ricky, right, I just draft Maid.
No ML Quirk, you draft Maid, yeah. What about Solitaria? She's one that counters your comfort pick, right?
Yes. She is most likely a force ban if my opponent has SSB and draft her, right?
Yeah.
And other from that, she's.
Do you like picking her over Rowana if your opponent picks SSB?
Depends on the comp.
Sure. Okay. Yes. Fair. Archdemon, you talked about this one a little bit earlier, and your build is pretty similar to mine. I just have more crit damage. Yeah.
If you don't like playing SSB, right, she feels a similar role to SSB.
Yes.
If you don't have SSB build, she's the shout out to Magicqi as trainer. He consider
he was here earlier.
Yeah, Emiru is a better option. I like my SSB more, but yeah.
Okay. So you though don't pick her as much because she kind of fills the same role as SSB, right?
Yes, but usually when I draft SSB, right, I need a second DPS. The first choice is Charlotte, and there are games there Charlotte isn't good, so yeah.
Sometimes you'll bring Meru with SSB.
Yes.
Okay. Mortelix, the Great Mort, no play.
Just meme, man.
Just what?
He's just meme.
He's just a meme. Okay, fair enough. I agree. Chaos Inquisitor, World Boss, meme.
Yes.
Sure, nothing. What about
I tried, when AOL first came out, tried him against AOL, but no.
Hasn't been too good. How about Isaria? Expedition?
Abyss, PvE.
PvE, sure. Biking, Hunts, Tenebria, yes. Hunts, Expedition?
Yes.
Mersa, any Mersa play?
Not really, but if if I want to try to speed contest, right, I can pick Mersa, but it rarely happens.
Rarely happens. Okay. Amelia, this is one you said you draft pretty often, right?
Yeah, because Ricky is highly contested, right? If you want to play against Ricky, Amelia is the second pick, and also Amelia covers a lot, right? Amelia is very good against Emeru because she can cleanse every turn, right?
Yeah.
So she can just cleanse the seal target, and yes, Amelia is more of a tempo cleanser, I would say.
Yeah. All right.
So there are often that she feels very weak, but for the tempo, she will provide a lot of tempo, right? Because she can push the DPSs and goes from there.
Sure.
So she will require a lot of decision making. And if the games has a lot of decision making, right? I usually like a lot.
He likes those extra decisions, like the Remu. Elena, any play?
Situational versus cleave.
Caesarea cleave sometimes.
Not really.
No, just what kind of cleave? Just
if they pick Abi too early, I can just Elena and haze into the comp, right?
Okay.
Yes.
We haven't gotten to it yet, Colt or Celified. Get ready. Champions Rado, you actually mentioned though you like having him ready, right?
Yeah, it rarely happens, but if they make a mistake in the draft, right?
You need
picking
him
heavy, I can draft him Q-Fiend or Champions Rado. Depending on the comp.
Yeah, that's right. You mentioned about Q-Fiend. Turner Guard, PvE, ML Haste.
Yes. ML Haste is also situational.
Yeah.
Yes.
Situational. Sure, go ahead.
He is very good if you play aggressive against mid-Chloe comps. So
exactly. Players like us, Magic, we can't capitalize right on getting the kill to proc the grudge or whatever the berries and things. Yeah.
And usually if they play Abi without protection, right, this haze is usually a force ban for them.
Sure.
And haste is also the reason why Fire Mary isn't that good anymore.
They're saying no, we are, but that's probably just because you don't pick him too often, right? Magic.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Koeric, looks like just World Boss, maybe CC, same thing. Where's the SSBs below these non-mullet units? Okay, Commander Lorena, newly buffed guys, very good. Fire Charlotte real fast. We're almost there, boys. I see the SSB. Fire Charlotte, Magic. You do pick him for a lot, right?
Fire Charlotte has my second best lifesteal gear.
It looks very
the best
high.
on SSB.
Okay.
And she's, my second DPS to go, right? Usually, if you think about it, the counters to SSB are very weak to Fire Charlotte. So usually, my 4th and 5th pick are usually SSB plus Charlotte.
4th and 5th pick, SSB plus Charlotte.
Yes. If I pick SSB early, right? On the 4th or the 3rd pick, they will go most likely Runner Violet. And Fire Charlotte can destroy these 2 units, man. Sure. And they usually have to force spend Charlotte.
Yeah, and the gear is very good, guys. He said it's second best lifesteal for Charlotte. It's a lot of bulk damage is there. Good enough speed. Okay. Now let's get to it. Here we go, boys. We've been talking about her all review. Here is the lifesteal SSB. Plus 30 drink.
Yes.
We're not triple S yet. Close though.
Yeah, close though.
Team imprint. Plus 15. Let's look at the gear. Talk to us, Magic.
So she is very bulky. If you see that, right? Very premium bulk, 1600 defense and 50k HP, right? So the bulk is very good. And I really like the high attack build because, the most damage SSB is doing is, through the drink, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have attack by SSB, you can kill Violet very easily.
Magic, we have the same SSB, except yours is better in everywhere.
In bulk. In crit damage is whatever, right? Crit damage is only here, to provide the life back from lifesteal. Mm-hmm. So you need a bit of crit damage, but you really want to go high attack. Because it's a win condition, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I like it. High attack.
Yeah.
So, this is where most of your drafts revolve around.
Yeah, SSB is my best skilled unit. SSB has like 440, I think, 440 gear score on crit chance, like.
Yep. All right.
So, yeah.
Well, we'll get to that draft section. Is there any other units we need to cover the Rem real fast, Magic?
Very bulky. Just Rem. Just Rem first. Rem is, just for anti-cleave, Isaria. I don't use Rem on...
this is good gear, though. I like this. Very, very high bulk while still maintaining high damage. And you're not even double S. You're pretty much triple S.
Yes.
But none of the units, this RB Degen, he
never that Degen RB. I'm using the Degen RB lately because if they pay, I double up, right? To double up the Anji. For us slow creepers, right? There are not a lot of way to deal with the Ren CCR creeper, the Ren cleaves, right?
Yeah.
They're so toxic. And the one way to do is relying on casino because you don't have any other ways, right? So I just picking Ram and DJRB into the comp.
Okay. Still plays a little casino. And it is his second RB, yeah. Yes, you did hear that, ho-yo-yo. All right. Magic, guys, YouTube, we're going to cut it there because he has so many units. We kind of covered that. You guys need to stop by Twitch to make sure y'all, because we're going to go over some draft tips from Magic. Guys, I want to pick Magic's brain on everything, and then we'll do the AMA, those of you that had questions. But those of you on YouTube, guys, you're going to have to stop by. Magic, do you have any YouTube or Twitch? Do you stream at all?
First of all, thank you for watching, and goodbye, YouTube.
So polite.
And I started to stream 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, where can we find you, Magic, and what days?
And first on Twitch. .tv/magic_chi.
I'll write that down. Yep.
Yes, and usually I'm from Europe. It's very early, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and 3 a.m. CST. And Friday I will start a bit later, so 10 a.m.
Okay,
CST.
Magic, send me that info, and I'll put it all in the description, guys. Make sure y'all check him out, especially if you play kind of like me, if you play a little standard with defensive, guys, I've learned so much from this review. Of course, all the cleave and top tier reviews we've done, some of y'all are like loving it and asking. This is the one for me, and I know a lot of y'all as well that can only play a little bit defensive. So thank you for Magic coming out. Magic, stick around though. We're gonna look at the draft stuff. YouTube, we'll call it there. Yes. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Sorry you can't see my chat, but Twitch is, they're chilling with us. Bye, everybody.